Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. We're going to be doing Rend Blakchand dungeon list today, and I think this is probably about the best Rend list that you can get for the dungeon. Scale and Steel on Rend. We want to run, obviously, Flame Burst on Wellpegs, Mighty Throw on the Griffin Rider, although realistically that could also be any of them. The Fury one, the Level Up one, they all fine. It's just Griffin Rider's just a good defensive unit. Coming in hot, but Gnomish Cloaking Device also works. Bristleback, but also the Poison one works quite nicely. Poison on Harpies, and really importantly, because this really helps you on the first level, Picklock on Defias Bandits, and they can be out of slot. The only reason you're using Defias Bandits is to get that gold bonus on the first level. Right, let's jump into it. I did a level, so you can see on my dungeons, I'm just going to get off this. Actually, I can't get off this. I did a level 27 and 28 dungeon today. I'm going to show you the level 28 run, although I didn't record the first boss like an idiot. So I'm going to show you the first boss from the level 27 run, and then I'm going to show you the second and third boss from the level 28 run. And I'll be using the epic pen, drawing over the top to show you the tactics. So on... Oh, I've got two of these freaking things going on. 1 second. Woo! Oh, Anyway. On this particular run, I had... Oh, Cannon, I haven't even set up my epic pen, guys. Right, now I've got it going. There we go. Right, on this particular run, I had Whitehair Moccasins as my first talent. On the level 28 dungeon, which you will see for the remainder, I had Howling Warband. Howling Warband, in my opinion, is infinitely better. So, tactics for this are pretty simple. Ideally, we put some well pegs or a safe pilot down here to stop these guys, these Murlocs that end up on this sort of bridge over here, because this one attacks your base. You want to send Defias Bandits this way first. Why this chest first? This one is much more easily contestable by the enemy, so you don't want to waste your Defias Bandits. They give you a huge gold burst. Rend, Harpies, whatever you want. Take this tower as a primary focus, and once we've got that tower, we'll talk more about the tactics. Right, so let's get going. I think I actually cleared the level 28 version of this much quicker than I cleared the level 27 version of this as well, which is actually quite funny. Apparently I didn't start for ages. There we go. So safe pilot on the top. We don't really have a great opening hand here. So I'm actually going to use Quillbore over that side to go for that chest. You can see he spawns a Ogre Mage and an Earth Elemental. Something that you'll find happens a lot is that you get a lot of Earth Elementals. They tend to feel like they get spawned all the time. Now what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to set, and this is just something I'm going to pause. I paused the wrong thing, so I'm going to go back ever so slightly. So something you're going to see here. Well pegs here. Why am I putting well pegs here? It just makes it easier to manage the Murlocs that come in from this side, because not only will the top two Murlocs attack this tower once you've taken it, the third one runs down here and starts attacking your base. So just putting some well pegs here just helps deal with those Murlocs and becomes less of a pain for you to think about later down the line. Right. So go all in on this tower over here. Unfortunately, we do get an Ogre Mage, which is a pain in the bum. Ogre Mage is one of the most annoying units in this game to deal with. And you can see I've got quite a heavy, a lot of people attacking my base. Now, fortunately, I have taken this tower. So this tower over here getting taken is really important. You've just seen that my Murlocs have cleaned up, my well pegs have cleaned up all of those Murlocs over on that side. Now, I'm actually going to use well pegs right on this barrier here. Also fine is just to get rid of these two Murlocs over here. We're going to turn the Ogre Mage with a Quillbore, which is very important. I'm just going to pause. Very important. The biggest threat to you beating this level comfortably is Ogre Mages that spawn near the boss. You want, as soon as you see them, you want to turn them with a Quillbore. So just turn them the other way so that your Harpies can do the work, right? Now, beyond this, it's just making sure that you manage the Murlocs back there. Don't get caught out by Earth Elementals. Try and keep hold of this tower. Take the gold where you can and keep doing that. Harpies down here, turning the boss and Ogre Mage with Quillbore, and that will eventually just win you the game. And obviously just cycling out the Defias Bandits where you can as well. So you can see, I'm actually going to use Safe Pilot this time round. So you can cycle between Safe Pilot and well pegs. It really doesn't matter. You just need to have one of them to respond pretty easily. So here we go. Going to get another situation. Unfortunately, I fat-fingered, and that's the problem when you fat-finger. Your Harpies just get one shot by the Ogre Mage. I kind of fat-fingered the wrong the wrong unit there, which is really annoying. But nonetheless, I'm actually taking this side tower. This is something that you can take if you can get hold of it. Like one Rend can usually take a tower by himself. It's just a nice thing to have. Provides a bit of extra defense. Means the enemy can't spawn stuff and take those chests. And it kind of basically gives you 2 free chests. But we take down the boss pretty easily by just following that same tactic over and over again. I'm now going to switch over to my other. Let's go right there. We're going to switch over to this one. Yes, here we go. So we have Howling Warband, and I think we have Summon a Skeleton Mage on an Unbound mini relic. So we have Howling Warband, which means that when a mini near your minis die, everyone else gains Bloodlust, and then, which is really good, very, very good relic. Just generally strong on when you're running Harpies or when running Wellpegs, just a really strong relic in that sense. And then the Unbound Skeleton Mage, when you play an Unbound mini, you drop a Skeleton Mage at the same time. Just going to quickly check if this is the one that I won or lost. Usually I end up losing the first run on this because it just depends on the spawn patterns, but I'm just going to have a quick look for you. I didn't lose. Right, so tactics. Look, I'm going to be real honest about this level. It very much depends on spawn patterns. I actually, when I'm playing Rend especially, I really like this spawn pattern because you basically know that if you play Rend here, you're going to have a really good defense. So I don't mind this spawn pattern. The worst spawn pattern is when you get the one Bat Rider that slowly walks its way all the way down here, and you're like, I don't want to spawn anything because I know as soon as I spawn something, a Drake is coming here, or like loads of stuff is coming here. I prefer it when they send everything at you straight away because it just gives you better time to respond. So best case scenario with this deck, Rend here deals with this pretty much this entire wave. Like Rend can basically solo deal with this entire wave. You can support with a Griffin Rider coming on from over here. Harpies, Quillbore. This tower. Take those 2 towers, you win the game. It's very simple. If, like you'll see in this level, you get the chance, taking that tower over there just is like an overkill. So that tower, not necessary, but it can work. This tower and this tower, really important because that basically gives you all the platforms that you need to launch attacks at the enemy base, and also, most importantly, keeps your base safe. So let's get into this level. Right, so I'm going to drop a cycle set of minis just to get out towards my Rend, which, as you can see, not bad. I'm going to distract the Drake. So you saw me distract the Drake with a Quillbore. I don't want my Rend and my what's it called, Griffin Rider to die here. But that does mean now, unfortunately, I haven't got a great option for distracting the tower. I really need Quillbore to distract the tower for the Harpies. So you're seeing here, I'm just going to use my safe pilot to kind of blow up everything behind the gargoyle, which is the most important thing. Unfortunately, can't really push any further here because, one second, my dogs are yapping. All right, sorry, my dog was yapping away. Griffin Rider really good into Drake, by the way. Generally tends to deal with it quite nicely, so I'm quite happy about that. And this is where my tactics slightly changed because I had to spawn Harpies as a defense for the gargoyle here. And that meant I can just go and take this tower. So if you don't have Quillbore, you can use, like you can see here, you can use Wellpegs, because Wellpegs themselves will also tank for a little bit, like they'll tank quite a few. In this case, we immediately had a Drake, but we turn him, because we actually have that handy relic. We turn in with a Skeleton Mage, and then we end up getting the Harpies kill on that tower, which is quite nice. So pretty happy about that, because that is another sort of safety tower. But to remain really safe, this tower needs to go. The reason being is they can spawn big death balls very easily, and as you can see with the poison all over the screen, it's very difficult to really respond if they spawn a load of stuff there. So I'm going to spawn my Quillbore just a little bit further out from the tower here. It just gives me a precious few seconds versus the Drake, which is quite nice. Obviously the Drake will end up killing my Quillbore, but I'm getting a lot of damage down on that Griffin. On that Gargoyle, and with another Griffin Rider, it should be good enough. The other thing is that I'm obviously mining, and I'm going to go for probably the best option here. Why is this the best option? There are two reasons. We have Resistant on our Rend, which obviously means that he can trade versus Drakes really easily. But also, it just means we can deal with Gargoyle, because obviously Gargoyle is very strong versus physical attacks, and obviously Griffin Rider is physical. So if we can get some elemental-based air damage versus a Griffin Rider, we're in a good spot. So we're going to use Wellpegs to try and stop, or any Unbound to try and stop the Banshee, just because we obviously spawn a Skeleton Mage, so she immediately takes over the Skeleton Mage, which is great. And now we're basically in winning position. Like, there is very little that the enemy can do in this situation. The boss can't spawn anything on our base, can't throw any death balls at us that don't come directly from the pit, and as soon as we have a Rend there, everything's going to basically get blasted as soon as it spawns. And so it's just a case now of Harpies, get them on the boss, drop Quillbores, drop Wellpegs, drop whatever you want, realistically. They can't farm very easily either, because Dark Iron Miner's getting killed by anything that I'm spawning. So we're basically just in a very strong spot at this point. It's so difficult for us to lose from this point. Obviously, we got Bansheed on our Rend, but we've taken the boss so low that a single safe pilot burn will end up doing the damage that takes us over the line. So that's really good. Very simple. And we are on to the final boss now. So we didn't get many great relics. I think we took Broodling Whistle, which basically means when we spawn Rend, we get 2 whelps, which is kind of like very meh. But let's have a look at this boss. Now, this boss is relatively simple. The tactics goes like this. This head into this tower should be a priority. Once you get this tower, it kind of stabilizes the region, this sort of lower half of the boss fight region. This first half of the boss fight is the hardest part of the boss fight because you have to do so much defense work as well as trying to mount an offense. But ultimately, the best way to start is Wellpegs here, blows everything up as much as it can. Rend, Harpies, whatever you've got, Quillbore here, just try and take this tower very quickly. Once that tower's taken, go for this boss. This boss you need to turn with a Quillbore, otherwise it will spit a poison on the floor, which basically kills everything, so just make sure you have that in mind. And then the final head over the top here, which can be very easily killed. Again, Quillbore MVP in terms of tanking that. It tanks the big elemental lightning damage attack, and then once you've taken all of them down, it's a simple case of just throwing minis at the wall until they kill the boss. It really is as simple as that. So let's jump into it. So we don't have Wellpegs to start, so we have to go for something a little different. We're going to drop the Defias Bandits here. Defias Bandits kind of useful on this level. They were obviously very much just a cycle mini, realistically. On the second level, you really didn't have much use for Defias Bandits. There were no chests, but there is one chest on this level. Not something that you're going to contest at this point, but it can give you some crucial gold in the sort of the final moments of this level. And as you can see here, we go straight in onto this tower. And it doesn't matter if we don't get the tower right now, but getting enough damage on it so it becomes an easy take afterwards would be really good. And as you can see, with the Harpies spawning, I'm going to have to just drop a safe pilot on the head, which actually now means we have secured that tower for the time being. Obviously has to build, but we are in a pretty good spot as it stands. And now we have the option to go for this second boss. The second boss, again, an ideal scenario. As you can see, I'm going to actually stop the raptors from getting to this tower. It's very important that we maintain this tower, which is why I've made that decision right there. That tower is the most important thing that you'll have at this stage of the boss fight because it controls the bridge. It stops the enemy launching waves at your base from the right-hand side. It's just a very, very, very important thing to have. Now, as you can see, we're mounting a defense with Rend, but this will turn very quickly into an attack. We do need to try and turn the boss here, but we don't actually have Quillbore. We have it now, but it's a little bit too late. Again, I was boomer reactions, but you're seeing the poison that you really want to be spit onto the Quillbore. It ends up taking out 2 of my whelps, but I think both my Griffin Rider and my Rend survive here, which does get me a lot of damage down on the head. You see these massive raptor attacks that come through. We now need to try and push onto that third head. That third head is very easy, and as you can see here, he will likely, I think he just blew up my Harpies, but nonetheless, not a problem. We obviously lost this tower, but we retake it because Wellpegs very strong versus the majority of the minis on this map, so we'll retake it rather quickly. And now we also have this chest that we can start to contest. But we've got all of the boss heads down now, and as I mentioned, it really is quite simple at this point. There isn't much genuine tactic to this. The only tactic that I would say is that the middle head will grant, so if you wake up the middle head, it will grant bloodlust to the side heads. So it doesn't matter which of these side heads that you tackle first, just try and make sure you kill them one at a time. Usually what happens is you kill this head, everything then just moves onto this head anyway, and then you move on one by one like that. So it doesn't really matter ultimately. But once you are at this stage of the level, you know, what you usually find, if you get to this stage, it's not a matter of you actually being able to do it. It's usually a matter of you racing against time. So just worth mentioning that, you know, a lot of the problems that people face on this part of the level ends up being, okay, we've run out of time to do this, and that's difficult. But as you can see, like, most of that initial push that I sent up the left-hand side took out that head rather easily, and now we are simply cruising our way through to killing this boss off. It isn't a difficult boss to deal with, if I'm honest with you. As you can see, going to drop the well pegs right next to the boss head. That's another important little thing. The damage from, what's it called? The damage from Flame Burst does affect the bosses. So now we have one single head left to take down, and now that's just a case of getting the gold generation ready to pop another Harpies or really whatever at this point. We're very close to taking down the boss regardless. As you can see, we do lose that meeting stone, which is kind of annoying. But we get a load of gold off the back of our Defias Bandits, or should do in a moment. And yeah, we're kind of set up just to, you know, well pegs. We can use Quillbore, as you can see here. Just spam a couple of Bam minis on the boss, and it goes down. So that was a nice, easy victory. And if I get good relics, I can probably even take this deck to level 29. Unfortunately, I didn't get very good relics today, so maybe I'll try again with the level 29 tomorrow. The reason I'm not doing Drakaseth, by the way, is I kind of want to save some content for when Blackrock rolls around again, because otherwise I'm basically at max level for my Rend and my Thoris, and it's going to be difficult to push them too much higher at this point. And that is it. That is my Rend Blakchand dungeon list. It's the best Rend Blakchand dungeon list, in my opinion, for this dungeon, and you should be able to push it pretty far and get your full golds. So yeah, enjoy. I'll see you soon.